Hi everybody, just wanted to show you this video of this buffalo plaid pumpkin canvas painting that I did. I already put the background on with the buffalo plaid, and now I'm just painting in the pumpkins. I'm using burnt orange for the pumpkin color with a angled tip brush, and then I'm going with the direction of the pumpkin. I'm sorry that the video's at a faster speed, but I tend to be a slow painter. So I thought if I sped it up, it would be a little faster for y'all to watch. So I'm just filling in the pumpkin color here. And like I said, I'm going with trying to go with the angle of the pumpkin, as far as the left and the right. I just think it makes for better brush strokes. Until you get up near the leaves, and then of course you just have to do whatever it takes to get the paint into those areas. So I go ahead and do both pumpkins with the burnt orange. And the buffalo plaid, I actually did the painter's tape technique. And the lighter part of the buffalo plaid, I painted on the black, and then what I did was took a wet wipey, and I went over it and wiped some of the excess off before removing the painter's tape. And then for the darker stripe, I really didn't do anything. I just kind of painted it as light as possible with the black. And that's how I created my buffalo plaid. I was taught that technique, and I thought it worked really well to give a light, because black can tend to take over, so I thought it was better to use the baby wipe to take some of that excess off, and I think it turned out pretty well. Okay, so again, I'm putting in the burnt orange paint here to the pumpkin. Filling in around those leaves. And this pattern, I actually had purchased the blank, a wooden blank, because I paint door hangers. And I actually purchased this from Southern Adornments Decor, and we had painted the door hanger that had 3 pumpkins and the buffalo plaid off to the right. If you check my page out on Facebook and Instagram and my Etsy shop under Susie's Whimsical Designs, you'll see that listed. But what I did, I thought, I wonder what this would look like on canvas. So I just went and transferred 2 of the pumpkins, putting the buffalo check behind them. And I thought it turned out really good that way. And canvas this is my first time actually painting on canvas, and I thought sometimes it was hard to get it to cover, and then other times I thought it keeps your paint wet longer working on canvas. Okay, so then here I'm using, I think here's where I'm going to use the dark chocolate to fill in the stems of the pumpkin. No, actually I'm doing the shading. I'm doing the shading of the pumpkin here. And what I'm doing is using burnt sienna to do my shading on the lines around the pumpkin. And what I do is I put the burnt sienna on the corner of the brush, and then the orange color on the other part of the brush. And that's how I use it to blend that color in. I think it does a really nice blending effect. And I do it around the edges and the bottom and the lines of the pumpkin on both pumpkins. Still using the angled tip brush, because I put the shading color, which is the burnt sienna, on the actual point, and I put the orange on the flatter part of the brush and use that to do the blending technique. Okay, and then I'm going to do a lightning effect in the middle of the pumpkin here. What I'm doing is adding medium ochre with the orange in the middle. I'm actually putting the orange color down first to make the canvas wet, and then I'm using the ochre color to lighten up that middle. And as you can see there, you can see the different colors starting to blend. And if you like here, I added a little bit more of the ochre than I wanted to, and what you could do is just add more of that orange paint to it, and it blends in really well. Just keep working it and it'll blend in really well. It's all up to you and what your preference is. I like mine to blend really well. Other people might like to see the ochre color a little more, but I like to see it blended. I think it makes it look more realistic, more like a pumpkin. Okay, and now here I'm actually doing the stem of the pumpkin. I'm using dark chocolate for that. I'm putting a second coat because it was pretty light, pretty transparent on the canvas, so I'm just putting a second coat of that dark chocolate, wiping my brush off. I'm still using the same brush for all of this. I'm sticking the point of that angle brush into the black. I have black paint there now. Putting that in there and then just doing around the round part of the top of the stem to give it definition. And I went a little bit too heavy on that one stem. That's why I'm drying it with the heat gun, and then I'm going back with my brown to try to cover that up a little bit, blend it a little bit better. And then what I do on that second stem is I use just the tip and very little black, and I just do, using the tip only, I do a very thin line. As you can see there, it's just a very thin line. I go around the top, making that circle at the very top of the stem, and then I go down one side of the stem just to give that stem definition. And I think here is where I'm going to be doing the leaves. I just washed out my brush, still using the same angled brush, and I'm using a olive green. I think it's a medium olive green to do the inside of the leaves. It's a really pretty color and a pretty contrast against that orange. And like I said, again, I'm using the angled brush, using that angled part to get around the outer layer, and then just filling in. I really like the way this turned out on the canvas. I just think I took something that looked so cute on a door hanger, which is, a wooden door hanger, and then transferred it to the canvas. And I just think it turned out really cute and actually gave me so many more ideas to do some more of my patterns on a canvas. This is a stretched canvas, but I'm going to try to do more on just a flat canvas. So again, just filling in here with the green. Try not to go over it too much. I kind of like the way it looked with the light effect to it. I was thinking about going in with some of that ochre in the middle to kind of lighten it up, but I decided against that. I just thought with the way the olive went onto the canvas, I thought it just looked really nice. And if this is something that you would like to try, you can get your canvases at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Joann's, Walmart. Even Dollar Tree has some of the smaller canvases. And then your brushes, you can get a really nice set of brushes, like a whole pack of different size brushes at Michael's, I think for $5. And then your paints that you can buy anywhere, again, Walmart, Michael's, Hobby Lobby. I use Apple Barrel paint, and then I also use Deco Art Americana and Craftsmart from Michael's. It's a cheap acrylic paint, but it's really good for these kind of projects. And that's pretty much all you need. Just a paper plate, a cup of water, your brushes, your paint, and your canvas, or you can also do it on wood. If you're interested in learning how to do this, I do teach painting, and you can just get a hold of me off of my Facebook page, which is at Susie's Whimsical Designs. Send me an email or a message, and I would be glad to get in touch with you, and we could do either a paint party, or I could just go ahead and do a lesson and teach you how to do this technique. So as you see, just the one layer of the green, I really think that looked really good on top of that pumpkin. I do go back and do a little bit of shading, but I decided against putting that ochre in there and adding a highlight to it. I thought it just looked really cute. And like I said, I did this whole painting pretty much with just that angled brush. I did use a script liner when it comes to adding the vines, which you'll see here in a minute. But that whole painting was done. The buffalo plaid was done with a large flat tip brush and painter's tape. And the pumpkins, all of the pumpkins was done with the angle brush. tend to be a very slow painter. I've just started doing my videos on YouTube, so I only have a couple, just this one and another one available on my YouTube channel, but I am going to be adding some in the future, so just stay tuned, and hopefully you like the content I'm giving, and if you do, I'd appreciate it if you could like and subscribe to my channel. That'd be great. It really helps me out with building followers and just people to engage with as far as teaching the painting. And like I said, I do mostly door hangers. I can cut the door hangers and ship them to you if that's what you're interested in. I buy all my patterns, like I said, through Southern Adornments Decor. I have not started doing my own patterns yet. I buy them all from her. Tamara Bennett over there at Southern Adornments, and I cut out my own blanks, as we call them. So if you're interested, again, you can send me a message, and I'd be glad to cut you some and teach you how to paint them. Okay, so here I think I go in. This is where I do the vines. I'm taking a script liner, loading it up with my medium ochre, and I'm just doing a, coming down and doing a squiggly line. I know you can't see it that well on here, but at the end you'll be able to see it when I show the picture. I actually just purchased those script liner brushes, and they are absolutely a must-to-have when you're doing fine details and lines like that. I was just using a round brush, but that right there is a game changer with the script liner. Okay, now here I'm going to do some shading on the leaves. I actually used the burnt sienna again to do this. You could use a dark green if you wanted to. I had a lot of burnt sienna left on my palette, so I just thought I'd make good use of it. And again, I went back to the angle brush, and what I'm doing is dipping my tip into the burnt sienna and then loading it up with that medium ochre paint, so I have more of the green than I do the burnt sienna, and I'm just going to shade the bottoms of the leaves by using the tip right against that edge and then pulling it down and then blending it in. I had used a dark green before. Actually, what I did is I added black, just a very tiny bit of black to my medium ochre to do a shading on that, and I just didn't like the way it looks, so I thought I would try the burnt sienna this time with it, and I think it actually did a much better job than doing, adding the black to your paint and darkening it up. You could do either way. You could do the dark green. You can take the medium ochre, add just a very tiny drop of black to it, stir it together really well, and it will darken that color up. So you could do shading that way, or like I'm doing here, just use the burnt sienna just on the very tip. And what I'm doing is I'm loading the brush up with my medium ochre and just the tip of the burnt sienna, and then blending that together to get that shading effect. And I'm just doing it on the bottom of those leaves because your shading is generally like where the sun is not hitting your item. So you just think of it as the sun is shining down on it, and it creates a shadow on one of the sides. So you just really do your shading on one side of what you're shading, and then that's where it's casting a shadow. Sometimes I always have to think about it and always picture the sun hitting the item or hitting the painting a certain way, and that's how I always keep my shading in just the one area. And I do this to both of the leaves, both pumpkins. I always have to stand and look at what I'm painting for a minute and decide if I like it or if I don't like it, or what do I want to change. And now here I'm going to go around and add a black line. I'm using a Posca pen. I'm actually using the largest. I probably could have got away with using the medium, but I didn't have a medium one. But I'm going around the pumpkin with this Posca pen. Posca pens are awesome paint markers, especially if you're going to do any kind of lettering or any kind of detail, and you really want things to pop. They're really a good investment. You can get a 6-pack of them, I think at Michael's, where it's all 3 sizes, which is large, medium, and small, and then black and the white. So I'm just using that to go around that pumpkin, and it just makes it pop. And I know that there's the buffalo plaid, which is black, but if you notice, even on the buffalo plaid, it really just makes the pumpkin pop. And it also will cover any kind of bad edges that you may have. Doing this technique really can cover up a lot of errors that you may not like. And I go around the top of the stem, around the stem. I go around the leaves. I wasn't going to go around the lines of the pumpkin, and I did. I actually wished I had not after I did it, but it still turned out okay. But I used the white and the black Posca pens. You could also, any kind of paint marker, you could get just, and I don't know what brand it is, but Walmart carries, I think, their own type of paint marker. I got mine off of Amazon and ordered them online. And I'm bringing that black line down, just kind of pulling them leaves out, giving them a little bit more of a definition. And then I go through the actual pumpkin and I add just a few lines. It turned out okay. I probably would not have, the next time I do this, I probably will not add the black lines to the inside of the pumpkin. What I was trying to do was just kind of outline the shading part a little bit without actually doing a full line. I mean, it turned out okay. But I probably will not do it the next time. Or if I did it, I would just pull the whole line down to show the definition of the line of the pumpkin. But it still turned out okay. Completely up to you. It's your preference. It's your painting. It's your work. It's whatever you think looks good, and that's the way you should do it. And then next what I'm going to do is take a the white Posca pen in. I started out with the small one and then switched over to the medium one. I think I'm running out of ink in that pen, so I'm just adding some highlights. And I try to keep it to just one side. I try not to add too many. And again, when I did the white highlights, I should have just stuck to doing a couple inside the pumpkin. I tried to do it along all of the lines, and it turned out okay. It still looks really good, but I probably would not do that next time I do the painting. It just really gives it a pop. It makes it look 3D when you do this, when you add the black and then you add the white. It just really gives it an extra look. Just kind of completes it. I added a C to the top of the stem just to make it look 3D like it is, you know, the top of the stem. And there I am again, trying to figure out, do I need to add any more? Do I not need to add any more? So I just leave it alone. I do this a lot when it comes to my painting. And I think I'm done now. And here is the finished project. So thank you for watching, and like and share my page. And also subscribe if you like it. Thank you. Bye-bye.